every conflict in every country has its own specific characteristics. Much can be learned when we come together to exchange knowledge across countries.
What I'm hoping is that we can find ways to work together in a manner that delivers better services for the people on the ground, but doesn't bring each one of us to a grinding halt.
We cannot use fragility or conflict as a justification for bypassing country systems, and working with the government and all the stakeholders that are engaged in these conflicts is the only way that we're going to see sustainable solutions and sustainable answers to these issues, particularly in middle-income countries.
Overall, we have 11 country cases here, and we visited 7 of them. We tried to group them around these 4 main dominant drivers of violence: subnational level, organized crime, drug trade, sustained failure of national local governance, and externally imposed fragility.
Fragility is about patterns of risk. Then development actors need to intervene to address the drivers of fragility, to better understand them, so that we can try to mitigate risk or manage and prevent conflict.
Subnational conflicts are ultimately political, and the solutions require political reforms, not economic development.
How we create trust in a middle-income country? With time, with resources, human resources, and funding, consistent funding.
The private sector is important because it is they that are going to create the jobs that are needed.
I think our responsibility is to provide the hope. And we provide hope not all at one time in a big, huge program, but we have to provide hope, one step at a time.
We have to understand what the limitation of the instrument we're bringing in. CDD will not be able to demonstrate anything to the government if it's not longer than 3 to 4 cycles.
As development actors, one of the key things that I think we can do and should be trying to do is to find and help governments and other stakeholders in those contexts find the best fit solutions for their particular conditions.
Our view is that the conflict monitoring system is not an early warning system, it is an early response system. It enables you to respond to problems arising from the emergence of new forms of violence, but it will not prevent yourself from actually being affected by it like an early warning system.
At least in ADB, what we have done so far is trying to introduce, and it's working, a political economy or fragility assessment or knowing the local context in all our country strategy program. And we are still, I would say we still have a long way to go.
It's important to see that we have 65 million displaced people in 2016.
Initially, you need to jump in, to help the host countries deal with the crisis, and then, work through the political process to end the conflict in the countries where they are coming from, and then put in place sort of a development assistance program to help the government stabilize their environment to make it more attractive for their citizens to go back. The key messages from our session today are the following. FCV in middle-income countries is different from FCV in low-income countries.
In middle-income countries, the particular challenges, we heard a lot about you must work through the government, you must work through the state, but in some of the middle-income countries, the issue is not weak state capacity. The issue is the state is maybe too strong. This is a challenge for you. How do you deal with a situation like that? We need to find different tools to do that. So maybe the private sector is the solution. We have to work with the private sector.
It is intelligent and wise to take a risk-based approach. Move away from reaction towards prevention. The central objective should be to strengthen legitimate institutions and governments to provide security, justice, and jobs. So thank you all very much for inviting us and for making us part of this important event.